MSNBC has lost its dang fool mind, but mostly it's Jen Psaki that keeps reiterating that they're in panic mode, and that's good news for us. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel. I'm the creator of Earthworm Jim and a bunch of video game stuff, and now I do the news. And I'm here to lead a giant army of happy patriots to vote, to encourage each other, to have fun, because Trump is going to be our next president. Let's go.
Explain what could be taking them so long at this point.
So it's worth remembering that in any normal case, this is actually not long at all. But this isn't a normal case. And the circuit did agree to expedite the briefing and oral argument.
So we're going to start here with this legal expert who's dumber than me, a comic book artist from California. He said that this is a normal timeline, and they're freaking out because it's a normal timeline taking too long. And he goes, but the court agreed to expedite it, and that's why they're going too slow. They're going too slow. Remember, it was only expedited because they politically got involved with an election in trying to get Trump's name taken off a ballot for insurrection, claiming he didn't have immunity and all of that. And Trump is just fighting back saying, hey, I'm immune. So this is normal back and forth, and the Democrats are completely losing it. But it's their fault. You did this. You're the anti-democracy ones. Not Trump, not the judges, you. Now, here's Julie Kelly on Twitter. As I wrote today, remember when criticizing federal judges for delaying key rulings was verboten? That's what they used to do. This is regarding January 6th, when they were accusing them of slow walking the verdict, not giving them enough lawyers. And the left said, no, it is wrong to impugn their character for slowing down. And so we just have to feed that right back to Jen Psaki.
So what's surprising, I think, to many people following this is that they haven't issued their decision sort of in conformity with the speed with which they asked the parties to brief this. Remember, over the holidays, over the Christmas and New Year's holidays. And so, yes, it does take 3 judges. There are 3 judges on this panel, not 1 judge. So that requires some coordination. And the presiding judge, Judge Henderson, we don't know, but may be the holdup here in terms of issuing the decision.
Judge Henderson is a George H.W. Bush appointment, and they're freaking out going, she has to be the holdup, because it sure as heck isn't Fan. It sure isn't their Democrat appointments that all just march in line. They're all, someone is not obeying orders. A judge, we do not have them in our pocket. It must be Judge Henderson, a Bush appointee. See that? See how this works? They end up exposing themselves and showing their own weakness in what they choose to complain about. They're like, this one judge, we don't even know who's dragging their feet, but it has to be this one. And this is a 3-judge panel. Usually we only have 1 judge, 1 Democrat. So they all just march. They just do what we say. And we're running into a little hiccup here, see? There's 3 judges. What are we going to do but panic?
What the result is that the Manhattan criminal case, which was scheduled for the end of March, may very well now be the first one. That was a case that everyone sort of understood it was going to get put off if the D.C. federal case went forward on March 4th. But the result of this sort of slowing of the D.C. federal case is that Manhattan, the first case that was indicted, may in fact be the first case to go forward at the end of March.
And this is the best move of all, because Alvin Bragg's case is the dumbest worst case. That's the Stormy Daniels one, payout one, whatever. There's no jail time for Trump. So that was just like a placebo placeholder case. And then came the big bad, the serious ones. Judge Aileen Cannon with the documents of the National Archives, and Chutkin and Jack Smith with J6, Trump's insurrection. We'll push Alvin Bragg, doughhead criminal defending, pro-cop beating up Alvin Bragg. We'll push him back. He's second place. Alvin, thanks for playing. back of the line, please. We've got serious court cases to pursue with Chutkin now. And now the Chutkins and Jack Smiths are so delayed. They're like, oh, crud. Alvin Bragg, get back in here. You might end up going first with Stormy Daniels. But Trump once paid it to a porn person like 20 years ago. There's nothing. They have nothing. I love it.
This is normal pacing here. As much as we're all impatient and as much as it's not aligned with the timing.
Come on, guys. This is normal, right? Don't jump off that cliff yet. This is normal, right? And she gets whacked here.
And so to use your phrase, Jen, at the beginning of this show, I am officially now at the freakout stage. I've resisted that for a long time.
Just remember, guys, if they're at the freakout stage, we're winning and it's good news for Trump. They're not all cool as a cucumber now. These are expert class guys. He's arguing before the Colorado Supreme Court. They're going, we were all cool and calm. Now we're like, pulling the hair out. Here's Jeff Clark on Twitter. Neil Katyal says he's, quote, freaking out that the D.C. Circuit is, quote, slowing down resolution of Trump's immunity appeal. So just because he's slowing down, just because, remember we said the timing is everything. The speed is everything on this thing. Watch the timing, because it's nothing to do with justice. It is about interfering with Trump's election, and that has a limited amount of time set to it. If it was justice, you'd have no problem with this thing going out to 2025. So, oh yeah, we'll get justice.
But we are now.
You don't typically freak out, so that's important.
Right. Yeah, no, I think we're now at the point, to use a different legal phrase, justice delayed is justice denied. I mean, I can't imagine a more compelling need for speed than the idea that American citizens deserve to know before the election whether a candidate for office is a felon and an insurrectionist.
Well, we already know he's not a felon or an insurrectionist. You're just trying to make that stick, pretending like that speeds this thing up. That has not been proven. And so it does not mean that it must get fast-tracked in the court. Court can take its time. Your little panic, your little made-up things that you indict Trump with does not mean they've been secured. So see how he's already saying that it's already been decided and secured that Trump is an insurrectionist and a felon. It hasn't been decided yet. So there's no reason to speed it up. But do keep panicking because you look funny. We're laughing at you. You make us happy.
And it's even more galling to me because this is an easy case. There is no responsible constitutional scholar who thinks Donald Trump is right, that there's an absolute immunity.
Remember, he's going down the constitutional scholar route. You can find constitutional scholars on both sides of any position. John Eastman, who's being indicted by Fani Willis on RICO charges, is a constitutional scholar. I got bad news for you all. They're not all in agreement on every single issue. They're known for their disagreement.
That a president can go and order Navy SEAL Team 6 to go murder his political opponent and then go and murder the senators who would try him for impeachment. That cannot possibly be right.
While that does seem to be a wet dream of Judge Fan, who came up with that hypothetical. It was Judge Fan that said, it was Judge Fan or was it Beryl Howell that said, could not the president order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate an opponent, which of course is ridiculous. But even then they said, the way that you'd have to fix that is by impeaching the president. So we do have remedies for it. If you look at what is reality, what Trump did to tell people to peacefully protest and walk over to the Capitol is not an insurrection. And they're trying to equate Trump saying, everyone peacefully march over, my patriots, to the Capitol. They're trying to equate that with if a president ordered SEAL Team 6 to assassinate an opponent. That's kind of a reductio absurdum.
And Judge Chutkin set a fast schedule here, and I have no idea what the Court of Appeals is doing right now, but I can tell you that I'm really worried that this delay is going to put the trial past June. It's possible that Trump will try and go to the Supreme Court after he loses on the Court of Appeals. That can take months. This is a real problem.
Yeah, it's a real problem for you. Sucks to be you. It's awesome to be us. Yeah, it's a real problem for you. Oh, yeah. Good news. Guys, this is a win. We're happy.
Judge Chutkan, I think it's important to remind people, she's just adapting to waiting for this ruling. So she's just trying to adapt to that. Okay, Andrew, because you are also known for keeping all of us calm here and keeping millions of MSNBC viewers calm. Where are you on the freak out meter here on your end?
Will you'll keep us calm? Give us a piece of candy. Give us some good news, right? Watch this.
Neil and I are in violent agreement on this.
They're in violent agreement that it's time to panic. Jen Psaki, she's all, we're calm, right? They're all, no, we're panic, dummy. The building's on fire. Our plan didn't work. Trump is going to be president. Here's Jeff Clark again. Here's the rest of that tweet. And Andrew Weissman is in violent agreement with that Cat Yall guy. These are the smart people in violent agreement that Trump is smoking them. I consider this a QED that both lawyers are not honest brokers, since the appeal of a complex issue like this is not unduly delayed by any ordinary appellate litigation metric, but are instead mere political actors whose overriding motivation is to block Trump's re-election at all costs. Remember that. That's just because I know these are a lot of big, multi-syllable words. The only ones you have to remember, the only ones you really have to understand are the ones at the end there. That these lawyers are political actors whose overriding motivation is to block Trump's re-election at all costs. That's why they're panicking. Let's continue. Here's the Washington Post. Opinion. Slowpoke federal appeals court puts 2024 election in jeopardy. It's in jeopardy. No, it's actually going to happen. That's what they mean by it's in jeopardy. It's going to happen, as called out by Mark Hemingway. So they're just saying out loud that convicting Trump was all part of the Dems' election strategy? Yes, that's all it was. They're admitting it.
And to just add a little fuel to the fire, I mean, whatever judge or judges are slowing this in the DC circuit, it is akin to what Judge Cannon is doing in Florida.
Being real, being a good judge, and being awesome, you fraud.
This is really not looking good for the federal judiciary in terms of their responsibility to the electorate, whether it's Judge Cannon, who has basically issued a pocket veto on that case and has really slow walked that for no apparent reason.
But justice. Guys, we're going to keep going. There's more video to show. Here it comes. But don't forget to subscribe. Please join us. It's going to be this way all the way to the election, guys. It's going to be a giant fun ride.
And you have the same thing going on in the DC circuit. So I agree with Neil that there really is no reason for the delay. And
absurd. That means this Andrew Weissman guy just disagrees with him. It doesn't make it absurd. He means I really disagree. Because in my view, Andrew Weissman is absurd and unprofessional and a hack, anti-constitution, election denier, election interferer.
So the idea that this is going to lead to losing, the war, because even though this decision ultimately will be against Donald Trump, the delay is allowing him to essentially win the battle.
Which we predicted from the very start. The delay is how Trump wins. Why? Because you're so corrupt, Weissman, that he would never get justice under you and your Democrat Judge Chutkan. His only chance was always a delay. And that's why he's still winning. We got more.
And
Everybody heard the freak out level here from people who don't freak out.
Now even the calmest Democrats are freaking out, everybody. So now I think all of even the calmest Trump MAGA supporters should be having a party. Get off your butt. It's time to clap and cheer. Don't sit there all glum. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing goes our way. Nothing will be done. Take the win, you ingrate.
So, Neil, in the minute we have left here, you've argued a lot of cases, to put it mildly, in front of the Supreme Court. The justices are hearing oral arguments about the 14th Amendment case later this week in Colorado.
Now, this 14th Amendment case in Colorado of taking Trump off the ballot, that's the last of his battles left, and it's so fraudulent, it's not going to work.
He doesn't actually have good legal arguments. And so hopefully the advocates can really bring that about on Thursday and make that point clear and can speak truth to power and say, look, you Supreme Court, you've talked all about the original intent of the founders. Here, the original intent of the founders is very clear. Someone like Donald Trump has no business running for office in our constitutional democracy.
Foul Democrat apparatchik, how dare he say the founders intended for the Democrat Party to be able to remove an opponent from the ballot by fake charging him with insurrection. Okay? If that's all the founders believed, then you have no country. And so it doesn't matter if Trump even grabs this entire country by totalitarian caveat from the top, because you have no country if you can remove him from the ballot. You totalitarian, you apparatchik, you Jacobin, you revolutionary, you anti-founder. We're going to win all the way. That's why they're panicking and we're happy. I'm Doug in Exile.